God will do everything you can't do in order to live, but God will do nothing you can do in order to grow. You know? Let's go. I'm a firm believer that every Christian has a story, has a testimony. That's right. A reason to be thankful for the Most High. Well, here's my testimony. Yo, a tailspin on my life, on a path of destruction. A good man gone bad, could barely function. I wanted to fight it, but he made me fall down. I was feeling like a carousel, round and round. A terrible event had me down on my knees, begging please, asking the Lord, please don't take me. He brought me back from the dead, from eyes bloodshot red, from the service he provided. Man, it just started. There was laid in the hospital bed, just fed up with my life, negative things being said. I had to bow down, ask my Lord for forgiveness, which was hard for me to do. Wasn't sure if he wanted to keep it. Rebel without a cause, full spoon without a pause. I had a lot of right to do to make up for those wrongs. I realized that the world revolves around He, and that it's not all about me. He could have easily made me dance with the devil. Instead I'm anointed, lifted up the highest levels. Now I'll call from the door, trying to bring the raw. Just sit back and relax, witness grace and awe. It's amazing how a man very little life could begin to see the sunshine move out of the strife, from devils to light. Proceed to walk with Him, talk with Him, continually stalking Him. Call this a love story, falling head over heels. Show Him in love, and I know this feeling is real. I know the deal, the hood keeps calling me back, but I'm trapped by His grace, and that's a fact. Could have easily remained in this land unsaved, from my soul, burning soul, my soul I would have blamed. I'm certain in my mind with Him I'm doing fine, getting along very well without the evils in my life. I can't believe it. All I done, He still saved me. I know that He's watching, but still He forgave me. And yo, I'm not talking nonsense and baloney. I'm coming straight from the heart, feeling lonely. I went to feel ill pains in my chest, to doctors calling miracles. It's Jesus in my vest. I didn't understand. I was a bit the man, considered the man. I now put Christ in the man. That's not all that He's done for me. I run with glee to give my testimony. Not alone, no longer messed up in the dome. This is just a stopping point, not my definite home. My home is H-E-A-V-E-N. January 24th, confirm it is there. I be sent. If I stand in Christ, then I'll stand tall. If I rebuke the strife, I will remain in all. Yup, I'm not saying that I'm without flaw, but I wanna walk with Him more than I could recall. I'm focused now on achieving this task of having Jesus Christ lead me to the promised land. The testimony's real, the knowledge to know that they'll satisfy my appetite. Other things couldn't fulfill. Nothing but thanks for His love and support, for saving this lost soul on January 24th. That's right.
Premiumbeat.com.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1, and then the 2. What is happening, good people? Y'all come on in, come on in, come on in. I want to welcome you all yet to another episode of Diciple Talks. I am your gracious and humble host, Kychell Little, and I will be kicking it with you guys for a little bit. My apologies for my voice. I am fighting some kind of a bug or something going on. But it's all good though. We go continue to push forward anyhow. Delayed but not denied. Not denied. So we'll continue to keep this thing going anyhow. This is season 5, episode 11, I believe. Yep, season 5, episode 11 of my podcast, Diciple Talks. And before I get too ahead of myself, you guys know how I rock, man. You know how I open up my show each and every week by saying this statement, man. God is good, man. God is good all the time. All the time. Not some of the time. Not 65% of the time. Not 75%. Not 85%. But all the time, God is good and is most certainly worthy of all the praises that is due. Man, am I the only one that just feels like the year is just flying? Like, man, it just seemed like it was like Easter, like 2 weeks ago, and now here it is, less than 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving, and then of course Christmas on the horizon as well, man. They say that time flies by when you're having fun. I don't know so much about the fun part. I can't really say that I've been having all that much fun, but I know that I've been getting things done. And with that, I am grateful to be able to just be in the land of the living yet another time and just continue to go forward on this journey, this walk of life that I am on, man. So with that being stated, let me go ahead and open up my show by just giving you guys an opening statement as I try to do each and every week, man. And the opening statement is simply this, man. Keep going. Keep going. There's a very popular saying that we often hear a lot, and it says that God or the Lord will never put more on you than you can bear. You hear that a lot of times. People say that when you're going through things and they want to encourage you or what have you. A lot of people say that to that. But I gotta be honest, man. Am I the only person out there that has questioned that thought process before? Or am I the only one? I feel like I sometimes I feel like that. Why is it that God chose me to go through so many things? Why is it that God chose me to show the strength of a person in the midst of adversity? Why is it that God chose me to bear such a load as what I have bared in my life? And I often question that thought process or that phrase that God will never put more on you than you can bear. Simply put, I'm like, why, God? Why do you feel like I can bear so much that you continually put stuff on me for me to get over, for me to get through? But if God has given you, let's say you had the worst day that you have ever had in your life, right? Let's say, things gone wrong, what have you, a bunch of issues, right? If you went to bed after all of that happened and woke up the next day, that means that you actually absorbed, or you actually, were able to have yourself exposed to some of those things that you didn't even know how you were gonna make it through. Simply put, if you go to bed with all the issues and you wake up the next day with the breath of life in your lungs, then that means that God saw fit for you to be able to continue to go forward, for you to keep going. I mean, we've all heard the words before. Maybe someone, told you that during a tough time. Maybe maybe you whispered, keep going to yourself when you felt like giving up. Maybe you didn't say it at all. You just lived it. But no matter where you are in your journey, those words are powerful because they hold the weight of resilience. They hold the weight of courage. They hold the weight of hope. Because here's the thing about life, man. I like to say life is like a heart monitor. It goes up, it goes down. But as long as that is the case, that means that you're still living, that you're still breathing. Because here's the thing, life does not move in straight lines. If anything, it's more like a scribble. It's like all over the place. You got loops, you got dips, you got sudden turns, you got twists, you got surprise that you didn't even ask for. You got challenges that you were never planned. And in the midst of that chaos, it's easy for us to convince ourselves that maybe the struggle means that we're on the wrong path. But trust and believe, man, God does not make mistakes. And maybe and even though sometimes we feel like all the struggle and all the effort isn't worth it, sometimes you might even feel like you're not good enough to be able to withstand all that is on your plate. But the truth of the matter is that this struggle is not a signal to stop. It's often a sign that something meaningful is happening. I'm going to say that one more time for those in the back that ain't hear your boy. Struggle is not a signal to stop. It's oftentimes a sign that something meaningful is happening. See, growth is uncomfortable. That's why it's called growing pains. Growing hurts. Progress is inconvenient sometimes. Change is rarely gentle. And yet, some of the beautifulest chapters, notice I said beautifulest. Shout out to my boy Keith Murray. Some of the most beautifulest chapters of our lives begin with those moments that we could have walked away from, but for whatever reason we did not. Think back to a time that you felt like you were ready to quit. Whether it was something big, something small, or whatever have you. Maybe it was school or a job or relationship or a dream or something that you actually cared about. You remember how heavy it felt in that moment? Now remember this. Wherever you are in your life right now, you are standing here today because at some point you kept going. I am sitting here in front of you all, kicking it with you all out there in Diciple Nation because I did not complete the assignment that I had predestined for myself to kill myself. Yes, that's why I am here in front of you all now, because I kept going even though I wanted to end my life 20-something years ago. Even if it was messy, even if it wasn't perfect, even if you stumbled, paused, or crawled, the point of the matter is that you found it somewhere deep down to continue to go on in the journey of life. There's a myth out there that perseverance looks heroic all the time. That to keep going means that you're powering through with all the motivation, dramatic progress. But the truth is that perseverance is often quiet. It's the 5 minutes you spend trying to get yourself together after you failed at something. It's the decision to take one more step when the finish line is still out of sight. It's the courage to say, I don't know how this ends, but I know one thing, I'm not done yet. And sometimes keep going doesn't look like moving at all. Sometimes it means resting, or like how I like to say, sit down somewhere so that way you can continue on. Sometimes it means asking for help. Sometimes it means starting completely over not because you failed, but because you've learned. Anytime that you have to start over, it's not that you're necessarily starting over, but you're starting from experience. Something didn't work the first time around, so now you're going to try something different. Progress isn't always forward. Sometimes it's inward, but it's progress all the same. Here's something else that we often forget as well. You are allowed to struggle. You are allowed to have doubt. You are allowed to feel tired, overwhelmed, uncertain. But none of those feelings means that you're weak. It simply means that you're human. They mean that you are actually a human being. I think sometimes we want to get so spiritual and all of that we neglect the human element of all that we have going on. What matters is not that you avoid difficulty, but the difficulty does not decide your final destination. Think of anybody that you admire. Anybody that, any like celebrity or any person that you might look up to. From the outside looking in, they look all polished, but none of them became who they are by giving up when the journey got hard. They kept going through long nights, early mornings, failures, rejections, setbacks, uncertainty. Oftentimes, we quit right before we are on the brink of our breakthrough. The difference between those that succeed and those who don't is not talent, it's not luck, it's anything like that. But it's more so the refusal to quit when quitting seems to be the easier choice. So if you're tired, people, keep going. If you're uncertain, keep going. If you feel behind, if you feel left out, keep going. If you're scared or afraid, keep going. If it doesn't seem like your progress is being made, keep going. If you feel like you took a detour or you made a mistake on your journey, keep going. Do we see the theme here? Continue to go, regardless of who says what, regardless of who's talking about you, regardless of who got something to say, keep going anyway. Continue to go on your journey regardless of how hard it seems. Because remember this, and I'm going to say this, and then we'll go ahead and move on with the show. Even the slowest of progress is still progress. Small steps count. Even setbacks can be stepping stones if you refuse to stop. And here's the beautiful thing. One day, you'll look back at the moment where you were uncertain. And you will say, you know what? I'm glad I didn't give up. I'm glad I kept going. Because that version of you, the future version of you, is counting on the present you to not give up. It's counting on the present you to stay in the fight. It's counting on you to keep going. So let those two words stay with you, people. Not just today, not even tomorrow, but just going forward, period. Keep going. And when the road gets hard, keep going. When the path seems unclear, keep going. You've survived every hard thing that has came your way thus far. So give yourself credit. You're stronger than you think. And sometimes, I think oftentimes we look for encouragement from other people, from other sources, but there are going to be times when you're going to actually have to encourage yourself. Say, you know what, self, you're stronger than you think you are. You're braver than you know. And you're more capable than you give yourself credit for. So your story, your real story, doesn't have to end today. As long as God has blessed you with the breath of life. That is all the motivation that you should need to be able to keep going. Keep going, people. So that is my opening statement. Keep going. Keep going. Let me bring myself on up to the camera, and I apologize in advance, guys. I am wearing shades because I don't want anybody to talk about me because my eyes are a little poofy. But we go, we'll continue to keep this thing going. Keep going. I can't say, keep going and then quit because I'm not feeling my best. It's sure that I'm not feeling the best, but it's all good. I'm still blessed. I'm still able to speak. So I'm going to continue to go anyhow. I'm going to continue to keep forward regardless. So a couple of housekeeping items to discuss really quickly as you guys see the banner scrolling on the bottom of the screen if you are watching this live. If you have not done so, please take an opportunity to subscribe to my podcast, Diciple Talks, on your favorite podcast network. I am on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and pretty much anywhere that you can get a podcast, I am there. So definitely check me out there, Diciple Talks. It's been over 2 years now since I've been doing this, and I am just blessed at the growth of the platform. I'm blessed that people still continue to tune in to the things that are said on the show. Um, and it makes it worth the effort that I put into this and to have people come on and to speak to you guys. So I definitely appreciate all the support from my show. And again, I apologize, guys. I'm still dealing with this, whatever it is that's going through my body, but you might hear me cough here and there on this show, but it's all good. So yeah, so please subscribe to my show, Diciple Talks, on your favorite podcast network. Also, if there's anyone that is looking to get in touch with your boy, please shoot me an email for any business related inquiries. You can send it to Diciple_Talks at yahoo.com. That is DICIPLE_TALKS at yahoo.com. So definitely, if there's anyone that is looking to get in touch with me for any business related inquiries, please shoot me an email there. Also, if there's anyone that is looking to be a blessing to myself or the show, you guys know how I rock. Genuine prayers are always welcomed here. So you can definitely pray, PRAY, for me. I appreciate any genuine prayer from my people out there. I don't want anybody to PREY on me, but definitely keep me lifted up in prayer at such a time as this. Also, if there's anyone that's looking to be a monetary blessing to the show, you can do so via Cash App. My Cash App is scrolling on the bottom of the screen if you're watching this live. If you are listening to this on the replay, my Cash App is $Esco the Disciple. That is ESCODADICIPLE. I am not soliciting funds, anything of the sort, but if there's anyone that is looking to be a blessing to the show, you can definitely govern yourself accordingly. I will appreciate any and all donations, but please let me make this clear. You don't have to, don't feel like you're obligated to, but I just want to, let you guys know that is something that you certainly can do if you wish to do so. Finally, if there is anyone that is looking to comment or come up onto the show to speak or anything of the sort, the link to my show is pinned on all of my social media accounts. That is Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So if there's anyone that is looking to come up and say a few words or anything of the sort, you are able to do so at any time. Simply click the link, put in a little bit of information, and we will get you on and popping from there. All right, so I believe those are all my housekeeping items at this particular moment. I am checking to see if my guest is ready to come on up. Yes, I believe she is. I think she gave me a head nod. So with that being stated, without further ado, you guys know that we are in the midst of a mini series where I have been spotlighting authors. This is the 4th installment of that mini series. So we have another author that is going to come forward to discuss their writings, amongst other things. So I do want to take an opportunity to introduce to some and reintroduce to others the highlighted author of this week. And she goes by the name of
Poetic Purpose.
Poetic Purpose. There we go. So let us welcome to the stage Miss Poetic Purpose.
Thank you.
Welcome
Thank you.
to
Thank
the
you.
show. How are you doing this evening?
I am blessed beyond measures.
I
I
love
am
it.
very
I
blessed.
love it. I love it. I love it. So she brings us greetings from it just seems like all of my authors have been in the South. I don't know. The South got something to say clearly. All of my
Hey,
authors have been in the South. I had 2 Texas authors, I had a North Carolina author, and now you're bringing us greetings from, I believe, Mississippi, right?
Mississippi.
The SIP is in the building. What is happening? What is going on?
Oh,
So
nothing.
before we get into talking about your art, give us your life story in 5 minutes. Go.
In 5 minutes.
Mhm.
Well, my name is Kychell Little. The, Um, I have five siblings. Well, now four. And I'm the oldest of them. My mother and father are deceased. And I have three kids, all girls. And I work hard. Um, I've put my time into becoming an artist and an author and just sharing my life experiences in my community. Um, I enjoy helping others the best way I can, getting them the resources and the things that they need for as the youth and the families of my community. I'm just an all the way around help. I try to do my best at everything that I do. I don't half do nothing. I give it my all. Just people, they have their own way of doing things, but mine is just straight, order. It got to be in order. Um, I've grew up with a rough childhood, but a blessed childhood. I kept going. I didn't let um, I didn't let the bad write my narrative. I kept going, as you stated earlier.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you kind of giving us a little bit about you. So I do want to just tap into a little bit. So I know you talked about a little bit about your childhood, that it was rough, but it was blessed. Are you able to expound a little bit? And you don't have to get too personal, but just when you say that, give a little bit more as far as why would you call it rough but blessed, if you could.
I call it rough because as a kid, no kid wants to, be abused and molested, and sexually abused in their lifetime. Um,
Mm,
that's why I call it rough because I was molested at a very early age, and I call
mm,
it blessed because I'm a survivor and here to tell my story in order to bless someone else that may not have their voice, have found their voice to speak up and speak out and tell their truth as well.
mm. Wow. I'm definitely sorry to hear that you did go through that, but I do like the fact that and it seems like that this is kind of like a reoccurring theme for all of my authors, like turning pain into purpose and finding purpose in the things that we have gone through. I think that's so important because there is no testimony without a test.
Right,
And in order for you to testify to anything, in order for you to testify, the first part of that word is test, and going through something to be able to speak to it. So that way, it can bless someone behind you. So I definitely appreciate you speaking on that. Now, would you say that your experiences in your childhood is in part um, fuel for why you decided to become an author and go into like arts and that sort of thing?
oh yes. I was I was not in a foster home. We were, taken away in the system and all that. I was actually in a group home, and I found my space, my safe space in writing. Um, Again, after telling that story, um, I was muted. I felt that my voice was just, I had no voice. I couldn't talk again. And
Mm-hmm.
so, um, with the people that came into my life, the therapist, she got me to start writing, and I started to write how I felt or what made me feel this way, and it just took off. It took off, and
Absolutely.
I didn't I didn't get it. I didn't get it like that. That was actually a way of, you know, releasing all the anger and everything that was built up until I um I read this book by the author Dave Pelzer, A Child
Mhm.
Called It, and that's what made me go ahead on and write my book.
Absolutely. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the book. So the title of the book is "The Voice of a Woman Inside of a Child." So can you kind of that's that right there, that title right there is just powerful. If you really just kind of like just really look at it, I was like, wow, that's a powerful title. So can you give us a little bit about why you selected that title for your book?
I selected it when I found all of my pictures of my mother, my child as she was younger, and then myself as a younger self. And the uh, the publishers just, they blended our faces and eyes where it's all three of us. I have my mother's picture where she's a young girl, my picture, and my oldest child. And the title came with those pictures, and it just spoke to me like, man, the things that were happening to me as a kid, it made me feel as a woman inside. The things that were being done to me as a kid should have been did to a woman, not a kid. And that's where I came up with the title, because as a kid we hold so much in. And in the South they say, what goes on in this house stays in this house, and stuff like that. And so that's where my title came from, the voice of a woman inside of a child, that only if I could have opened my mouth sooner as a kid, then I would have had some womanly things to say.
Mm, wow. So and again, I don't want to. I only want to go as deep into this as you would want to, because I don't want to make you uncomfortable with this being a
Oh no,
public.
I'm good.
Okay. So what was it like for you to write this particular book, given what you've gone through in your life? What was it like for you to actually write this book? Like, what was that process like?
I kept stalling because I was worried about what my family would say, or the people that loved and cared for my mom. Um, I was just skeptical. I was doubting myself. I was like, no, nobody wants to hear that. I'm grown now. And um, he even with the man, that's involved, I was like, what if he reads this? What if he tries to come after me, come at me? And then I just, when I had got, it was a friend that I worked it with, and she read it, and she heard all of the personal conversations, because I did a kind of like a live take, like I went and got phone conversations and text messages from the real people. And
Hmm.
I just said, okay, I'm gonna do it. And she was like, you really should. And she told me her story, and she was like, this would be powerful. You don't know how much that she looked up to me. And I was like, wow, she's
Mm,
older than I am. And I did it. When I started getting that kind of feedback, like from people that are older than me, that don't know how to open up, or is not ready, I said, you know what, I'm about to do it.
wow. It must have been liberating to like really kind of get out of your own way, essentially, and just do it, as opposed to being worried about who would say what or who would think what. Because I know oftentimes we we censor ourselves because we're scared of what other people might say, but the liberation that people feel when they start speaking their truth is second to none. And there's no more liberating feeling than being able to speak freely. One of the amendments is like freedom of speech, but oftentimes we feel censored because of what we might say might hurt somebody, or somebody might feel away. But we really have to, if it I look at it like this, and again, I don't want to speak for you, but I'm just kind of speaking for me. If what I say is going to hurt somebody, um because of something that they have done to me, then I don't want to. I feel like that's something that you have to kind of allow them to deal with. Like, you can't stop me from speaking my truth because it's gonna hurt your feelings. Um, and I don't know if that was the case for you. You can definitely speak on that if you like, but I just feel like people who censor themselves because, oh, somebody's gonna say something or somebody's gonna feel away, really need to really take an examination of themselves, because you can't, long after people have hurt you and gone on about their business, you stuck feeling away because you're not speaking up. So it's very important for people to really speak their truth and really really step outside of their comfort zone, essentially, to be able to say what they need to say, because there's healing in that. There's power in, or taking your power back and speaking your truth. And feel free to like kind of expound on that based on your own personal experience if you like.
Yes, it was kind of like a pull and tug. I had people tried to tell me just to, leave well enough alone. Um, they was just talking about the years, and the biggest part was, well, your mom is no longer here to defend that, and stuff like that, that make me, that really made me want to shut it down. Like when they was like, well, your mom, um just bringing up that, and the situation. I love my mom. I love her dearly, and I wish she was here to hear and understand, as a kid, what I went through and how I felt. Yet at the same time, it's a lot of things, a lot of trauma and stuff that she was dealing with, that she could have stopped it. But if she was strong enough, to understand her truth, then maybe some help would have came before all of everything got unwind and unraveled. But I did feel that liberating moment. Now it's whatever hurts, because I have all girls and I have to think about them, and whatever hurts them, if it's hurting them, speak. That's what I teach them. Speak up. Um, don't just be quiet. You have a voice, and I want to be. I create spaces where they can speak, where they can talk, where they can tell me. That way, as a mother, I gave them that space. I try to do things as if I would have had that opportunity, created space, the safe space where I could come say, "Hey, mama, this happened." You know, uh, yeah, you got to create that space, and I do that very often. I do it very often. I check in, and um, I check in with my girls, because that's one thing I have to live with, along with many other things, being that mental thing going on. But I do create a safe space and try to help them to understand that you have to let me fight for you, but you have to use your voice too.
Absolutely. Use your voice. I like that. For those of you just joining us, we are kicking it with Kychell Little, aka Poetic Purpose, talking about um, the why behind her book, I like to call it. So let's talk a little bit about the book itself. So would you say the book is it a autobiography, or is it fiction? Like, how would you classify the book?
I would say a little bit of both,
Okay.
because I did not want to get into any legal things, if you understand what I'm saying.
Hmm.
So I kind of made it a fairy tale type of deal, but my truth, um, kind of telling my story as if I was that woman, you know, the voice of a
Gotcha.
woman inside of a child. But I'm that child, but I'm also that woman. And basically, um, the book is, there's the woman inside of me is speaking, but she's in her mind, she's that child. So oftentimes she would go back into being that child, in reality, like we're living right now today. We're grown, but when triggers happen, she goes back into that child and starts to remember and feels that she's in that space again. So, if she's married and stuff like that, and her husband and her are maybe having dinner, but something triggers that moment and she's drifted back into that childhood, finding, basically I did it as where she could go back in there and grab that inner child and bring her to where she's at as the woman, to make that child feel safe, that she don't have to hide. That's kind of how I wrote it. Like, I went back and got that inner child so she could know that I will fight for her too, that she no longer has to be afraid because no one is going to hurt her.
Gotcha. Okay. So basically, um, fictional, but based on some real life
Event.
testimony
Yeah.
type stuffs. And okay, gotcha. So with the book being written, how is it perceived by those who might have had a direct, or it might have impacted directly? Or have you had those conversations with said people,
I mean,
or
I have.
mhm,
I have. As far as the people that know what actually happened,
mhm,
um, I've had some. I've lost a lot of people. I've lost a lot of people, and I'm proud. I'm glad of that. I've lost a lot of communications with people because of my truth, and I'm so thankful for that, because that means that they don't have to put their stumbling blocks in my way no longer.
come on now.
So I'm glad that they had to fall off. If telling my truth backs you up, then hey, that's a clear path for me. But to the people that didn't know, but that have been through some similar things, it's like I get more and more of those people that invite me to speak, that invite me to tell my story. It's been amazing, of men and women, and it's like, wow, I'm to be so young, but to touch those people that's in their 50s and 60s and things, and 40s, that feel they don't have a voice because of that same thing that holds them back. Family, family think worrying about what, oh well, this person gonna say this or this person gonna say that. And so I will be the voice, and if need be, I'll help them tell their story. I'll help them write their story.
Gotcha. Are you comfortable with being the voice of people who have gone through something similar to what you've gone through?
I am. I love it. I love the fact that someone that has done evil things to children and people, I love that they can be uncomfortable for someone that no longer is muted, that
Mhm.
that is no longer silencing trauma or hurt.
Got you. Okay. And I only ask that question because I know a lot of people sometimes they'll stop at being able to speak on it, but they don't want to be like the voice of the voiceless per se. That can be a very uncomfortable pedestal to be put on. You know,
It could.
yeah, I think oftentimes people when people do things like write books and like record songs and any kind of art, it can be therapy for them, but then it puts them in a position where they have to be a voice for the voiceless, and it's not always easy to carry such a weight. Um, but I do feel I commend anybody who uses their platform to be able to speak for those who don't have a voice, or who feel like they don't have a voice, or encouraging people to use their voice more. So I definitely, commend you for again turning your pain into purpose, and really
Thank you.
allowing, yeah, really allowing what you have gone through to um to basically minister to somebody else. And honestly, it's not the easiest thing to do when you put yourself out there like there. But anything that's worth anything will never be easy anything. You
Right.
think about anything that you have gone through that was of any substantial meaning. Typically, is not without struggle. So my heart goes out to you, and I just basically want to encourage you to continue to walk in that purpose that you have clearly found, even though it didn't feel good going through it or what have you. But the fact that you're using it as motivation and motivating others, I feel like that's awesome, man. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
um Definitely thank you for doing that. So is this the only book that you've written so far?
No, I have two more. It's called The Love Behind Bars
Okay.
and Anywhere But a Care. Those are kind of like things I just threw out there, writing for other people from listening to other people. And Anywhere But a Care is kind of like quotes, different quotes that I think of to get up and get my day started, or when I don't wanna go, or when I don't wanna do it. That's my push to create words, and that's gonna motivate me. That motivated me in my time of I don't want to do it, or I just want to give up. And
Absolutely.
I put those in a book.
Okay. So you got three books. I'm assuming, are there more on the way?
There are. I'm just again. I'm focusing more now on ministering through my music. I do some Southern soul, but I love rhythm and blues. Um, and I just feel like it's needed. I come a different way because it's poetry. To me, that's how I write music, through my poems.
Absolutely. So are you in the midst of recording a project now, or is it something that you kind of, is it like a wait and see type of thing?
I am. I have a couple songs on YouTube under Poetic Purpose. Um, One is Selfishly Loving Me. Uh, my new one I just put out is called Soul Love. That's SOULLUV. Um, and it's
Okay,
just a
now.
mixture of things.
Okay. All right. So, um, do you find it? I don't want to say difficult, but what is it like for you to transition from being an author to being a recorded artist? Like, what is that? Um, is it two different spaces in your mind that you go to, or is it all come from the same place? Like, what's the difference between being a recording artist and being an author in your mind? Like, how does that work, or how do you go back and forth between the two?
In my mind, the Arthur part is silence. It's total silence for me. Um, there's no sound. There's no sound. It's just emotions and feelings. And the recording part is sound. Like, okay, let me get a sound feeling, and that's my only thing. But I have mastered it so much that I can transition to both. Like, I can go from one to the other real quick. It's no thought process.
Okay, gotcha. Would you say that they are the music that you're going to be putting out? Is it going to be also um, based on life experiences, or is it more so just giving a voice to somebody who didn't have a voice? Or what would you say that your direction of your music is going to be?
Um, I'll say both. Life experiences, and to people that you know need a voice, that I push to have to use their voice. I'm mainly love, and when I think of love, I think of the wind. We can't see it, but when the tree leaves fall or the trees move, it's the wind, and that's how I feel on love, and that's the only way I feel that the world is going to unlock all of everything else that's going on is love. And so that's where I'm at in music.
Okay. So when can we expect? I know you got a couple things like, is there a full length project coming anytime in the near future, or is it more so just like single by single?
I'm working on my album now. Um, I would say between February and March of 2026, I'll be done.
Okay, cool, cool. Well, of course, you got my information. So once that is done, I would love to have you back on so we can, highlight that as well. But um, definitely, like, I'm just blown away because, you know, you hear people who go through abuse and they are so withdrawn that it's hard for them to really speak out. So the fact that you're so open about it, and I'm kind of like trying to like tiptoe, like, should I ask that or should I not ask that? But the fact that you're so willing to talk about it, I hope anybody who's listening to this, either live or on the replay, is kind of gaining strength from what we're hearing, because although everybody's everybody's journey is different, everybody's path is different, there is therapy in speaking. There is therapy in words, and there is therapy in speaking your truth. And it is very therapeutic to do so because, speaking from personal experience, holding things in has never benefited me. It has only caused more pain and hurt by holding it in. But once you begin to speak out, and once you begin to speak your truth, it becomes a lot easier to really start the healing process. And then
Yes,
and it's funny because I say start the healing process, but you know, there I don't feel like there is ever an end to healing. I feel like healing will
mm-mm.
go on as long as you go on. That's why it's important for us to keep going, because you have to continue on in this life in order for you to be able to fulfill whatever it is, whatever calling it is that you have. And so if if you could really, if you can speak to like the younger version of yourself through your writings, what would you want the younger version of yourself to get from what you're putting out to the world at this particular point? What would you want that? What would that look like for you?
Um, it would look like, um, again, I'm creating a safe space. I want to create that safe space where the younger me could come in and speak, use the voice that's given, but that safe space has got to be created because we know, well, we know that we can go to our parents or we can go to our uncle or aunt or whatever, but if there's something off, like in my situation was, you know she loved that man to death, and if uh, something was done that made me back up to not want to communicate with my mother, because I was afraid she wasn't going to believe me, I wouldn't talk, I wouldn't tell her. So I want to create that safe space, uh, that the younger me or anybody could go into and feel comfortable enough, like we old friends, like we knew each other for a long time, that they could just open up. And I've done that to many people that I don't even know, like I had just met, and they said that talking with me feels like we've known each other for a long time. And when I hear that, I know I've done my purpose. I've 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 elevated my mind and my heart to the purpose at hand. And that's what I want to keep doing, is to create that safe space where they know, hey, I can go and talk to her and nothing comes about it. Nothing comes out. Yeah.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this: other than writing, um, because what you've gone through is very traumatic. Has there been any other type of work that you have done to manage the emotions, or manage, kind of just get a grasp on what you've gone through? Have you done any other kind of shadow work or anything?
Uh well, to tell you the truth, my shadow work is my community. Wherever there is help needed, I am there. Um I make house calls. I go and when there's somebody needs some help, far as food, or like I said, resources. I go above and beyond to make sure that they are taken care of, because we're all a family. This is my community. I even ran for mayor, um in my community.
Oh wow.
Is I see things, and that alone, running for mayor, someone like me, and people like, what you mean someone like you? Someone that has been through the troubles and trauma that I've been through. I gave another voice. I gave another voice. Like, okay, you failed at some things, but just because you failed doesn't mean you have to stay there. Get up. And that's exactly what I did. I put another voice out there, like, okay, well, I see this lady every day in the community. She's taking care of her kids. She works a normal job. She does, and she runs for mayor. So I put another voice out there. Like, it doesn't matter what you've been through. You don't have to let the negative write your narrative of the positive.
Hmm, love it. I love that. It doesn't matter what you've been through or where you've come from, but you can still overcome anything and to be anything. And you don't have to stay in a particular way just because that's where you came from, but you can definitely rise to do anything. So I love that. I love that thought process. Um but I also want to just make sure, and again, you can correct me if I'm wrong. You said you talk about community, but how does your cup ultimately get filled back?
Um, my children. Um, uh, I have every morning. Um, every morning, I have a routine that I do of to AJ is, I think it's Kent, but it's pronounced, well, it's spelled Gent. Um, I just stretch and listen to instrumental um sounds, and feel a vibration, and that's in the morning and at night before I go to bed. And it's just something about that guitar that soothes everything that I've been through with the day, throughout the day, throughout the week. And I enjoy it, and I sleep well. There, I sleep well. I process and pray, and my children, they do the same thing. They pray, and they're good. They're good to me. They're good. They're very good to me. Beings that, with all I done been through, um, I could count on them. And with that alone, that sound and vibration of the guitar, and just him ministering through those strings, that is how my cup is filled every day. And peace, when I could just lay down and not have to worry about everything that's going on. I don't bring what's outside in my home that's left out there for the next day, or it'll pass on by through the night. What's meant for me is meant for me to deal with. I'm not going to take on no more than I can.
Okay. And I just want to, just me being someone who is constantly advocating for mental health and things of that nature, I just want to make sure that you are, you're not only doing the pouring, because everything that you have said is you basically using what you've gone through to pour into other people. But I also want to make sure that your cup is getting sprinkled back in as well. That's important because
Oh yeah.
because in working for others, this as well as anybody. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes we want to get enough to where we are able to pour into other people's cups. Whereas I think the optimal way to do it would be to make sure that we have an overflow and to make sure our cup is being filled so much that it's just that people who around or surround themselves with us or surrounded by us or what have you or around us can get the overflow of what is being poured into us. So I just want to make sure for you
Yes.
specifically that you do take that time to make sure that you are continuing to do the work, because I don't, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't feel like anyone who has gone through anything can get to a point where they say I'm good always. It's constant work that needs to be continued to be done, because for all the work that we have done to get ourselves to where we are, it's not the final destination. We still have more work to do. So
Right.
we have to continue to replenish ourselves along the way, so that way we don't get to a point where we're running on fumes. Because if you ever tried to drive a car when it's fumes, it's not gonna go very far.
No.
So we don't want to be running to a point where we're in our car and the car chokes up before we get to the next destination. So I just want to make sure that my advice from me to you is to make sure that you are being filled, whether it be through your children, through therapy, prayer, whatever the case may be. You just want to make sure that you are getting fed as well, so that way you can continue to do what you're doing, but you're doing it out of overflow and not from, trying to barely get by, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Yes. Good thing you bring that up. I look at the glass, that half empty, half full. I
Mm-hmm.
look at it as half full
Mm-hmm.
because the simple fact is there's so much filling and overflowing that I get, that I don't want to be greedy, because that's how I look at my life, in my writings, in my speaking. Um, God gave me this, and He could take it away at any point in time. So who am I to not tell my test, so someone may get through the trials that they're going through? Who am I not to share my experiences to maybe unlock what the next door for someone else may become or may have to go through? So I really am. I'm that person that gets replenished, and not just, oh, I'm gonna, go, 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 go. I go, 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 but I make sure that I have go, go juice.
I like that. Go juice. I like that. Okay, that's good. That's good. So, um, now let's talk about the older you, like the next, like looking back after everything is said and done. What would you like the legacy of Poetic Purpose to be?
The legacy of poetic purpose is, for me, my words: get up, you're almost there. That is, every time I speak, I have to say that at the end: get up, you're almost there. Because it's just the older me, um people, they wonder, my smile. They talk about my smile. They talk about, oh, well, you're glowing. And I after they tell me that, and then they share their story, and then it comes about that we've known each other for a long time. I tell them the reason they felt or feel that way, and that's to anybody that's watching or listening to me or watching me, um, and wherever I speak at, I tell them the reason they feel that way is because I am the miracle. I am the miracle that was put right in front of them. Just like the blessing that people, oh Lord, I pray I get this. I am that miracle. And I feel that way because 2016, I had brain surgery and
Mm.
they gave me 5 years to live. It is now 2025. So when people say I can't, or I just get tired, or I just don't want to, I look at myself as that miracle that got up
Mm.
because I was there, but I'm almost there where I need to be too. So that's the legacy that I want my children, the people in the world to know. Hey, you were knocked down. You were brought down so you could look up to see you. You are a reflection of yourself. You are your worst enemy.
Mm.
You have to shift your mindset and get away from all that negativity. Because if I would have took what the doctor gave me 5 years and say, well, y'all, we got to do this because I only got 3 years. We got to do this because I only got 2 years. I probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't be here today. But no, I took that 5 years and said I got 9 and 10 and 11, 12, 13, 14 more. So each year I say, well, I'm going for another year. I'm going
Mm.
for another year.
Wow. I hope y'all getting this, Disciple Nation. Like this is a true testament to, you know, this just speaks to what I was speaking about earlier. Like, just keep going. Like, even though sometimes it seems blank, or it seems like you can't go another step. I think oftentimes we get overwhelmed with us trying to go up the whole flight of stairs when you can only go one step at a time. You can only take one step at a time. So don't overwhelm yourselves by how am I going to make it all the way up to the seventh floor and you're on the first floor, but take one step. And then after you take one step, take another, and keep taking one step at a time. That's all we can do in life, is take it one step at a time. And before long, you would look back and like, wow, I've come a long way just by taking one step at a time. So thank you for that. That blessed me, honestly. Like, that's just a testament to just really, like, not giving up and just continuing to go anyhow. Even sometimes you don't feel like it. Go anyway. Go anyway.
Yes.
You've been blessed with the breath of life in your lungs. And even though you don't feel like it, you gotta still get up and say, you know what, I'm gonna do something. I might not even
Mm-hmm.
know what that something is going to be, but I'm going to get up and do something to be able to fulfill a purpose that maybe you don't even know, or maybe you do know what your purpose is. Whatever the case may be, get up. You are almost there. Don't quit. God has given you the breath of life of your lungs. Don't quit. Keep going. Wow.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Thank
You're
you for
welcome.
those words. So I know I don't want to take too much more of your time. I know we're right at about an hour at this particular point. Is there any last remarks or anything that you want to say to the people about your book, or just really anything, any future endeavors, anything? Or you can also let people know how they can find it, how they can get in touch with you if they want to, and let me put this disclaimer out there, just like I had to do last week. Business purpose only. Business
Yes.
purposes only. Like, how can the people get in touch with you if they want to do business with you or anything of the sort?
Oh, well, I have my email is healingtrauma4. That's healingtrauma4 @gmail.com.
Is that the
If my
number 4?
music, yep, the number 4. the number 4.
amy.4@gmail. Okay, I'll put that in the chat.
My music is on YouTube. It's on all platforms under Poetic Purpose. My books are on Amazon under Kychell Little. I have my Facebook is Poetic Purpose. My TikTok is Poetic Purpose 88. Um, I just want to really just say, because my heart is so full, um, that to everyone that's listening and watching, um, share and tell someone else about what's going on here. The space that was created for this tonight. Um, I just want to say that it may look a little rough and it may look a little tough, but hold on. The change starts with you. And if you have the get up and go about yourself, then it's shortly coming. You just have to keep holding on. Um, I know there's a lot of people that we're losing day to day, and it could be depressing around, especially around the holidays and these times. But um, I need y'all to know that there is power within the tongue, and if you use it for good, um, then everything else will prevail itself to you. Uh, you just keep holding on. And if you want to cry, cry. But if you need to talk to somebody, open your mouth and speak. Let whatever's hurting, whatever's hindering, whatever you're going through, speak to somebody that you know that you can create a safe space with. Um, and just hold on. Don't give up. Don't give in. Get up, because you're almost there.
All right, that's a benediction right there. Like, I don't that, we can go on and go to Sunday dinner after that. That's good. That is good. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. So I just echo everything she said, man. Don't give up. Just keep going. Just keep going. It's not always gonna be easy, but there is a blessing in the pressing. And people don't often realize how close they are to a breakthrough when they give up. It's like you're just right there. If you would have just held on just a little bit longer, that breakthrough would have came. So it's really important to definitely take heed to what my friend Miss Little, aka Poetic Purpose, is spitting tonight. Definitely just continue to go forward. Yeah, so I echo everything that she said. So with that being stated, Diciple Nation, you know how I rock. At the end of every episode, we want to offer a prayer up. As I have been doing the past couple of episodes, I've been praying for my guests and they're continuing to walk in the purpose that has been allotted for them. So Miss Little is no different. She definitely has a word for the people. She definitely has encouragement for the people. She has multimedia books and music that are on the way. So we want to definitely pray for her to continue doing what she's doing and continue to do it in excellence, but not losing herself as she does it. So I want to pray with that thought, to continue on in the way that we're going, but not to lose ourselves as we proceed. So that's how I'm going to pray. So if you all would join me for a word of prayer at this time, of course, you guys know prayer is the cornerstone of my life. I do pray daily. If prayer is not your thing, I totally get it, but it is mine. And so I will go ahead and take this opportunity to pray. So let us go to the Lord in a word of prayer at this time. Most precious and Heavenly Father, we thank you right now, Lord. We thank you for this day, this hour, these moments that we are spending in your presence. At this time, we want to go ahead and lift up our guest, Miss Kychell Little, to you at this time, Lord. You know the desires of her heart. You know where she has come from. You know where she is, and you know where she's going. You are the only person that can see that process from start to finish. So we thank you in advance for continuing to keep her thus far. We thank you for her efforts. We thank you for her allowing herself to be vulnerable, to be able to minister to somebody who would be able to benefit from what she has to say. And at this time, Lord, I lift her up to you, Lord. I pray that you just continue to bless her coming and her going, continue to bless her body, continue to bless her mind, continue to bless her spirit, so that way she continues to be a vessel for the kingdom. That way she continue to be a vessel for her community. That way that she continues to be a vessel for those who feel like they don't have a voice, Lord. And Lord, I ask that you, whenever she does get worried, that she does take that time to rest, and that she does take the time to be able to be replenished, to be poured into, so that way she can continue on her walk of life. That way she can continue on in her purpose. That way she can continue on. And Lord, we ask that you just continue to bless those that are listening, those that got anything from it. And we ask, Lord, that anyone who is on the verge of giving up, anyone that is on the verge of quitting, Lord, that you open up a door in your precious and holy name, in your timing, so that way they can see that there is a blessing in the present, that there is victory on the other side of the struggle, that there is something to strive for, not because we are so good, but because you are great and you are the greatest, Lord. And we ask all of these things in your precious and holy name. And let everyone say amen.
Amen.
And amen. Amen. So again, guys, I want to thank Miss Kychell Little, aka Poetic Purpose, for coming and kicking it with us on Diciple Nation. Diciple Nation, you know how I rock. Go and shut her stuff down. Pick up that book. The book can be found on Amazon. The title of the book, I'm going to put it back up, is The Voice of a Woman Inside of a Child. I love that title. I really do. So you can find it on Amazon by searching her government name, which is Kychell Little. Of course, for her musical endeavors, she goes by the name of Poetic Purpose. So you can check her out on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. Any last remarks before we let you go, Miss Little?
I thank you so much again, and you continue to create spaces for people to use their voice.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about, man. Each one teach one. Um, I just feel like, honestly, if people worked more so together versus trying to work against each other, this would be such a better place, man. I open up my platform to anybody as long as you come with respect. I don't even care if you don't have the same beliefs as me, but we can have a conversation. So, I love to collaborate and conjugate and have people on to have healthy discussions. So that's definitely part of my purpose, and I will continue to walk in that. And again, I just thank you for your time and coming on and blessing the show. So we will let Miss Little go, but hopefully once that music project is completed, we can have her back on to come and kick it with Diciple Nation so she can discuss that as well. So we
Yes.
are going to say good night to
Good
Miss
night.
Little. God bless. Thank you so much for you coming on and kicking it with Diciple Nation. Man, that was good. That was really good. So we definitely want to thank Miss Kychell Little, aka Poetic Purpose, for coming on and kicking it with us. And guys, don't forget, if you have not done so, please subscribe to my podcast, Diciple Talks, on your favorite podcast networks. Anybody looking to get in touch with your boy, hit my email, Diciple_talks@yahoo.com. And don't forget to keep your boy lifted in prayer as I continue to go on this journey, as I will do the same for every one of you as well. With that being stated, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this episode of Diciple Talks. I am your gracious and humble host, Esco Diciple, signing off. I want to say take care. God bless. I love each and every one of you all. But remember, and more importantly, God loves you more, man. Take care. Peace.
Premiumbeat.com.